Good morning children. Stay at home, stay safe and healthy. So in the last video I discussed the Kirchhoff's law, and I hope you have got a clear concept of the first law, which is the node rule or junction rule. Another second law, and Kirchhoff's first law is the statement of conservation of electric charge, and the second law, it is also known as loop rule, and it is the statement of conservation of energy. Alright, now today we will learn about Wheatstone's bridge. So what is Wheatstone bridge? That first you understand. If you connect four resistances across the four arms of a quadrilateral, sides of a quadrilateral, and along one diagonal connect one galvanometer, and along the other diagonal connect one battery, then that is known as Wheatstone bridge. I repeat, four resistances are connected across four sides of a quadrilateral, and in a quadrilateral there are two diagonals. So across one diagonal you connect galvanometer, and across the other diagonal connect the electric cell or the battery. Now here you see, if I name it like this, A, B, C, D is the quadrilateral. Then you see here I have connected across the diagonal BD the galvanometer, and across AC I have connected the battery. Now one may interchange the position of galvanometer and battery. Then also it will be known as Wheatstone's bridge. Means one may join across AC the galvanometer and across BC the electric cell. Alright, then there will be no problem in that one. That will also be considered as the Wheatstone bridge. So in the Wheatstone bridge, it is not necessary that across AC only you have to connect. Across any one diagonal you have to connect the battery, and across the other diagonal you have to connect the galvanometer. Then the network we are getting, that is known as Wheatstone's bridge. Alright. So you see, from this one, from this battery, the current I is coming. Alright. Now, if you consider the point A and apply the Kirchhoff's first law, then you see I is entering into it. So through these two branches, I1 and I2, current will come out. Okay. So you see, if you apply Kirchhoff's first law for the junction A, for the node A, then you can write I is equal to I1 plus I2. Alright. Now, when the current will come to the point B and when I2 will come to the point D, then you see there is a possibility that current will again be divided into two parts. Alright. Now, for a Wheatstone bridge, when okay, let us consider the resistances like this. This is P, Q, R and S. So, if the values of P, Q, R, S are adjusted in such a manner that potential at the point B and potential at the point D becomes equal. Alright, what we have done? We have made the adjustment of P, Q, R, S. The four resistances we have adjusted in such a way that potential at the point B and potential at the point D becomes equal. Then you see, what is the potential difference between B and D? Potential difference is 0. Alright, so if potential difference is 0, then what you can consider? Current through the galvanometer. Current through the galvanometer, if I consider it as Ig, no direction I am giving, then Ig will be equal to 0. Alright, whenever any question will come related on the Wheatstone bridge principle, don't forget to show in the diagram Ig equal to 0. Alright, it is mandatory. What I said, when Wheatstone bridge principle you are applying, then you must show in the diagram, write in the diagram Ig equal to 0. Means no current passing through the galvanometer. Alright, means galvanometer Ig equal to 0 means what? Galvanometer will not deflect, will not show any kind of deflection. Galvanometer won't show any kind of deflection. Galvanometer pointer will be at 0, and I hope you can remember where is the galvanometer pointer. Where is the 0 of the galvanometer galvanometer scale? It is at the midpoint of the scale. Okay, so galvanometer pointer will not deflect. This is known as null point. Alright, null point means what? When the galvanometer pointer do not deflect and Ig equal to 0. Alright, so look at the diagram. Then what will happen to the current I1 after coming to the point B? Although there are two branches in front of it, but as we have made VB equal to VD, so I1 current will pass through BC. Clear? Because Ig 0. Again, in the same manner, when I2 will come to the point D, as no current can pass through the branch BG, so what will happen? I2 current will pass through S. Then you see I1 and I2, again they are coming to the point C. They will be added up and total current I will go back to the battery. So look at the division of current as I have done. Whenever any question will be on the basis of Wheatstone-Bridge principle, you should show the branching of current nicely this way. It is mandatory. Now we can apply the Kirchhoff's voltage rule for the loop ABDA and BCD. So let us consider the mesh current. I am assuming like this. This is the mesh current. Now for loop, what is the name here? ABDA. For loop ABDA. Alright, apply Kirchhoff's second law. Okay, Kirchhoff's second law, loop rule, because this is a loop. So what I said in the loop rule, first of all you will find out how many resistances are there. So here how many resistances are there? P and R. So write down P and R separated by some distance. Then multiply them with their current. So here what is the current? I1. What is the current passing through R? I2. Is that clear? Now what will be the sign? Now look at this one. This is the mesh current and the current I1, it is along the direction of the mesh current. So it is positive. Look at I2. What is the direction of I2? In this direction. And what is the direction of mesh current? Opposite direction. So what will be the sign of I2R? Negative. Alright. Is there any resistances present in it? No. So this is the left hand side. Then put an equal sign. Then write down the EMF of the cell present in the loop. Now here look at the loop. Is there any battery or cell in this loop? No. So what it will be? 0. So if you simplify it, what are you getting? I1P is equal to I2R. This is the first equation we have got. Now you consider the second loop BCDB. For BCDB. Is that clear? Now in BCDB how many resistances are present? Q and S. So write Q and S. What is the current flowing through Q? I1. So it is I1Q. What is the current flowing through S? I2. So it is I2S. Now we have to put the proper sign. Now look at I1. This is the direction of I1. And the mesh current I have assumed like this. Okay, so you see the mesh current and the original current, they are in the same direction. So what is the sign here? Positive. Now look at I2. I2 is moving in this direction. But where is the direction of the mesh current? Opposite direction. So what will be the sign for I2S? Negative. Is that clear? Now again equal sign. Then on the right hand side we have to write EMF of the cell present in the loop. But in this loop there is no EMF. So what you can write? This is 0 because no EMF is present. So if you just simplify it, then you are getting I1Q equal to I2S. So this is equation 2. Now if you divide equation 1 by 2, then what are you getting? I1P by I1Q is equal to I2R by I2Q. So if you cancel I1, I2, I2, then you are getting P by Q equal to R by S. So this is the condition for null point. What is this? This is the condition for null point. Another word, another technical term we use for Wheatstone bridge, when no current passes through the galvanometer, galvanometer does not show any deflection, then we say that Wheatstone bridge is balanced. Alright, and what is the condition to be satisfied by a balanced Wheatstone bridge? This is the condition, that P by Q equal to R by S. So condition for null point or condition for a balanced Wheatstone bridge is what? P by Q equal to R by S. Alright. And remember, P by Q equal to R by S we obtain only when VB equal to VD, potential at the point B and D they are equal, and the current flowing through the galvanometer is 0. Alright. Now here P and Q, they are known as the ratio arm. R is the third resistance. We count this way. This is the first resistance, second resistance, then we come here third resistance and fourth resistance. Alright. Generally P by Q, they are known as the ratio arm. R is the third resistance and S is considered as the unknown resistance. So by the Wheatstone bridge principle, one can find out the unknown resistance. You see, unknown resistance S, what it will be? It will be R into Q by P. Okay, means P, Q, R. If these three resistances are known to you, then when the Wheatstone bridge is balanced, then applying this condition P by Q equal to R by S, one can find out what is the value of the unknown resistance S. Okay. Now next device we have to know about is meter bridge. Alright. Why the name is meter bridge? Meter means there is a 1 meter long conductor here. A string is there. It is 1 meter long. Okay. So it is known as meter bridge, and bridge is the term generally we use to which we use generally to measure anything. We use the term bridge. So it is known as the meter bridge. Now here just look at the structure. If I name it AB, AB is 1 meter long string. Okay. And then this is a copper strip, and here there are 2 binding screws. Then you see there is another copper strip which has 3 binding screw on it, and at the other end again there is another L-shaped copper strip. Okay, and there are 2 binding screw on it. This entire arrangement, it is fitted on a wooden wooden platform. Alright, and over here there is a meter scale. Alright, there is a meter scale here, and the 0 of the meter scale is coinciding with the point A, and 100 centimeter of the meter scale is coinciding with the point B. Means just you assume it here that there is a scale from which you can just find out what is the reading of any length of the meter bridge. Alright, means you can find out the length of the string. Now here, what we do? There is a sliding jockey. Now, across these 2 points, we connect one resistance box. Alright. And so here we connect one resistance box, and across the left one we connect one unknown resistance X. Alright. Meter bridge, it works on the principle of Wheatstone bridge principle. Meter bridge, it works on Wheatstone bridge principle. Alright. And here you see how we do the connection for that. We connect the resistance box at the left gap. we connect one unknown resistance which we have to measure by using this divide to the left gap, and then between this point and the jockey, this means this point, jockey means what? The point you can touch it different places and you can change the length. Alright, so here our galvanometer is connected. It is crossing, so galvanometer is connected. This symbol, I hope you know, this is the crossing mark. Alright, here one end of the galvanometer is connected, one end of the galvanometer connected to this point, other end is connected to the point J. So this is the jockey, so let us name it as, okay, J only I am naming. This is jockey, so if you touch the point here, then you see the length of AJ will be this and BJ will be this. Entire length of AB is 100 centimeters. So I am writing here, entire length of AB is 100 centimeter. Alright, now you see, if you consider it, it is nothing but a Wheatstone bridge, and across the point AB we connect the cell along with the key. Alright, along with the key across. Now you see, if you remember the Wheatstone bridge, so you see this is P, this is Q, then this is R, this is S. Alright, so if I name it as, this is as B, this AB I have named it. So you see across AB battery is connected. Is that clear? Then I can name this point. Where will be J then? J will be this point. Okay, what is J? J is this point. Between A and B is J. So between A and B is J. Now, if you consider this part, you see as it is a copper strip, so if this point is A, this is also A. If this point is B, this point is also B. Clear? Now let us give another name here, C. So all these 3 points you may consider as C. So you see across AC R connected, across BC S means X connected, then AJ is nothing but P and BJ is nothing but Q. Alright, so it is a Wheatstone bridge only. I am repeating, okay, in a different manner I am trying to explain to you, try to understand. Actually this kind of one, if I could have explained you in the physics lab, the task was would have been easier for me, but that is not possible now. So I am trying my level best to try to understand it. In a Wheatstone bridge, there are 4 resistances. So identify the 4 resistances here. AJ, resistance of AJ is P, resistance of AJ is P, resistance of BJ is Q. Is that clear? Then you see resistance in the resistance box is R and the unknown resistance X is S. I hope it is clear now. Alright, so there are 4 resistances, and if you consider the name, P is between A and J. So P is between A and J. Is that clear? Between J and C is the galvanometer. So between J and C is the galvanometer. Between B and C is the unknown. If this point is C, as it is connected by a copper strip, so this is also C, this is also C. Alright, so I hope you have understood the network of the Wheatstone bridge principle here. Alright, so this is the way you have to do the connection to measure the value of a given unknown resistance. Alright, so I am repeating how to do the connection. To the left gap, connect the resistance box. To the right gap, connect the unknown resistance. Across the length AB, connect the battery. Then between C and the jockey is a movable point, okay, connect the galvanometer. One end of the galvanometer connect to C, other end of the galvanometer connect to the jockey, and in that case these are the 4 resistances of the Wheatstone bridge. Alright, so this is the circuit connection. Then how to do the experiment? Step by step I am saying, just understand it. You don't have to write that one, you have to only understand that, because you have to do the practical, and this is the most important practical. Every year you will get this kind of practical, so you have to understand it. So here you see how the experiment done. After doing this connection, from the resistance box 1 ohm resistance is taken out. Alright, then the jockey is touched at the point A, near the point A. So if the galvanometer deflects to the left, then when you will touch the jockey near the point B, then you will see galvanometer will deflect in the opposite direction. Alright, what does it mean? Null point is within the string AB. Then what you have to do? Slowly you will touch J at different points until and unless you get null point or no deflection in the galvanometer. Alright, first point is what I said, take out one resistance from the resistance box, touch the jockey at A and near B. If you get opposite deflection, it means your circuit connection is alright. Then what is the next step? You start touching jockey starting from A at different point towards B until and unless you get zero deflection in the galvanometer or null point in the galvanometer. So let us consider for the point J you have got null point in the galvanometer. Alright, so let us consider the length of AJ, let it be L1. Okay, so if you consider rho be the resistance per unit length, then you see what will be RAJ. RAJ will be L1 into rho. L1 is the length, rho is the resistance per unit length. Alright, so what will be the resistance of L1 length? L1 into rho. Like that, if you consider AJ is L1, then what will be the length of BJ? It will be 100 minus L1. So you see what will be the resistance of the length BJ? It will be 100 minus L1 into rho. Is that clear? Now what is the condition for null point? Condition for null point is P by Q equal to R by S. So what is P here? P is L1 rho. What is Q here? 100 minus L1 into rho. What is R? R is the resistance taken out from the resistance box. Okay, that's why I have written this way, RB equal to R, means whatever resistance you will take out from the resistance box, that will be considered as R. And what is S? S is the unknown resistance X. So you see from this relation you are getting X is equal to rho you can cancel. So X is equal to R into 100 minus L1 by L1. So you see R is the resistance you have taken out from the resistance box. L1 is the length you can measure from the scale attached with the string AB, and then you can calculate 100 minus L1. So if you substitute L1 and R in this relation, you can find out what is the value of the unknown resistance. So this is the way a meter bridge is used to find out the value of the unknown resistance. Sometimes we may use it to find out the value of the specific resistance of a material also, because if you know the resistance of the material, then you can find out the length of the material, cross sectional of the area of the material by using a screw gauge. Then you know what is the value, what is the expression for the specific resistance. Specific resistance is R into A by L, cross sectional area, resistance into cross sectional area by length. So putting the value of R, L and A, one can find out the specific resistance also by the meter bridge. Alright. Now here when we use some meter bridge, then there are some possibilities of error, chances of error while doing this experiment. Alright, what are the chances of error? Just try to understand. Here the copper strips, you see I am telling this point is also A, this point is also A. but in between A there is a copper strip. Alright, although the resistance is very less, but still it offers certain amount of resistance. Alright, so you see the resistances of the copper strips we have not taken under consideration when we have written this relation. Alright, so the resistances of the copper end, as they are connected almost at the end of every resistance, so the error that gets included within the result due to the resistance of the copper strip is known as the end error. Alright, another possibility of error is that what I said, that here when you are considering the meter scale, and drawing it below, but actually the meter scale is fitted in this gap, okay, with the wooden frame. Now 0 should coincide with the point A and 100 should coincide with the point B. Alright, now you know that due to manufacturing defect, and India is famous for that, so it may happen that 0 is not coinciding with A. So if 0 is not coinciding with A, then 100 will also not coincide with B. Then what will happen when we will read the length AJ, this is the length AJ, when you will read, then an error will come in the measurement of length L1, isn't it? So due to that also error will come in the result. Alright, so how to overcome these two types of error? These two type of error overcome, just repeat the same experiment by interchanging the position of X and resistance box. Alright, now what I said, that to just means eliminate the error that will come in the result due to end error and due to the non-coincidence of 0 of the scale with the point A and B, what you have to do, you interchange the position of X and resistance box, and then you repeat the same experiment. Then you will see that null point will be obtained for some other length L2. Is that clear? Then you see, you can write it like this: L2 rho, this is P, divided by Q, Q is 100 minus L2 rho, equal to R, R is what? X here, X divided by, this is R, so you can write it at R, resistance taken out from the resistance box. Alright, so I am writing it within bracket R. Remember, this by this will be this by this. Left by right equal to left by right. That's the way you must write down the condition for null point. So it is L2 rho, it is 100 minus L2 rho, this is X and this is R, so X by R. So in this case X will be how much? Rho cancel, L2 into R by 100 minus L2. So calculate the value of X by this formula, then by interchanging the position of X and resistance box, again you repeat and find out the value of X, then you take the average, let it be X1 and X2, then find out the, X2 equal to X I am writing, X1 equal to X I am writing, then there will be no confusion. Means for the first reading, whatever value of X you have got, let it be X1. Then for the second case, whatever value of X you are getting, let it be X2. Then take the average of X1 and X2. What will happen? The two error will almost be eliminated. Alright. So this is the way meter bridge works. And what is the principle, working principle of meter bridge? Working principle of meter bridge is nothing but Wheatstone bridge principle. And what are the four resistances? How to identify? This length is one resistance, this is P, this is another resistance Q, then this is one resistance R, and this is the fourth resistance S. So these are the four resistances of the Wheatstone bridge in case of meter bridge. This topic is important for numericals and for practical.